Good evening, or late afternoon, whatever you prefer. The February 27th public session will now come to order. I will first entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Thank you, and be sure to have your mics on when you respond. Before we call for the roll, Trustee Stanton Buttram is on Zoom. I assume she signed in. Yes? Okay. Thank you. Monica, would you please call for the roll?
Yes, trustees, when I call your name, please state your vote. Chair Uvala,
Approve?
Vice Chair Chen,
Approve.
Trustee Chaudhry,
Approve.
Trustee Johnson,
Approve.
Trustee Moore,
Approve.
Trustee Price Jones,
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram,
Approve.
and Trustee Gwynn.
Approve.
Chair Uvala, the motion passes.
Thank you, Monica. The next item of business is to approve the consent agenda for the approval of the minutes from December 12th, 2023 public session, the December 12th closed session, the minutes from the February 15th board budget workshop, and the approval of the minutes from the February 15th board closed session. Do we have such a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Monica, would you please call for the roll?
Yes, trustees, when I call your name, please state your vote. Chair Uvala,
Approve?
Vice Chair Chen,
Approve.
Trustee Chaudhry,
Approve.
Trustee Johnson,
Approve.
Trustee Moore,
Approve.
Trustee Price Jones,
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram,
Approve.
and Trustee Gwynn.
Approve.
Chair Uvala, the motion passes.
Thank you very much. Our next item is to move into procurements. Madam President?
The main motion, what's actually under the consent agenda item? I think we'll do it again. The main motion in front of the board is the item 4B on the consent agenda be approved by the board.
And this was in your pre-reads, as you know. Do we have a motion to accept that?
So moved.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Can we call for the roll, please?
Yes, trustees, when I state your name, please, or when I say your name, please state your vote. Vice Chair Uvala,
Approve?
Vice Chair Chen,
Approve.
Trustee Chaudhry,
Approve.
Trustee Johnson,
Approve.
Trustee Moore,
Approve.
Trustee Price Jones,
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram,
Approve.
and Trustee Gwynn.
Approve.
Chair Uvala, this motion passes.
Thank you very much. We'll go into our committee reports, and we'll start with Dr. Johnson's Budget Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Budget Committee has met 2 times since my last report. My report will summarize both the January 19th and January 24th committee meetings. The FY 2024 operating budget status report as of December 31, 2023 reflected the results of the fall semester and the preliminary projections for spring. As noted, the budget workshop As noted in the budget workshop, the projections show a balanced budget with all areas within their appropriation authorization authority. Student tuition and fees are projected above budget by 7% due to continuing improvements in enrollment. Overall expenses are projected to be under budget primarily due to staff turnover and benefits savings from open positions, and in some areas offset by the strategic year-end purchases identity in the 2025 budget development process. At both meetings, the committee discussed and provided feedback on several operating budget scenarios for FY 2022 and the assessment of those scenarios in the achievement of previously agreed to guiding principles and priorities. The committee also reviewed the proposed FY 2025-2030 capital budget. This concludes my report on the January 18th and January 24th Board Budget Committee meetings. On behalf of the Board Committee, I would like to provide some comments regarding the proposed FY 2025 operating and capital budgets, which we have on our agenda as action items tonight. In addition to multiple meetings held by the Budget Committee, the full board reviewed the budget at the February 15th Board Budget Workshop. That workshop included detailed presentations from the administration regarding the 2025 operating budget request, the Auxiliary Enterprise and Restricted Fund Application Authority, and FY 2025, FY 2030 capital budget request. During that workshop, the board engaged in decisions with the administration regarding the budgets, high-level trends facing the college, outcomes of prior budgetary investments, anticipated revenues and expenditures, and the key assumptions and projections contained in the multi-year budget planning tool. The board and administration noted the significant fiscal challenges facing the college given the anticipated state funding reduction and continuing operating costs associated to ensure institutional success. This is our fifth operating budget in support of the college's strategic plan, Engagement Matters 2 - Excellence through Innovation. The administration's FY 2025 planning and budget development process has again focused on reallocating resources in support of initiatives developed under the plan to directly impact student completion. Hold on. This budget also includes additional funding to support several initiatives related to the key priorities of attracting and retaining quality and diverse faculty, staff, strategic initiatives in support of student success, and legal and regulatory compliance. The proposed budget represents an overall expenditure increase of 5% or $7.1 million compared to the FY 2024 budget. The board appreciates and values the dedication and quality of the faculty and staff who serve our students. Knowing that the college's quality programs and reputation for innovation and excellence are because of our faculty and staff, we are pleased to bring forward a budget that includes a pool of funds for compensation and benefit increases in support of the board-approved compensation policy. You want me to read that one again? If you didn't hear it, you can read it. Oh, no, they don't have it up there today. Okay, but anyway, I'll read it again. We are pleased to bring forward a budget that includes a pool of funds for compensation and benefit increases in support of the board-approved compensation policy. This includes $6.6 million in funding for compensation and benefits, including a 6% compensation pool for faculty, part-time faculty, and staff. We are happy to present a budget recommendation that limits the tuition and fee increases with a proposed $1 in-county tuition rate increase and $1 increase in the athletic fee. Despite these necessary increases, the continued and expanding use of lower-cost course materials and the innovative approaches our faculty have taken in addressing course materials will help these increases for many of our students and maintain a flat overall cost of attendance. The governor's budget includes a $1.9 million decrease in state funding from the FY 2024 funding level. To help offset that, we are asking for an increase of $5.7 million from the county. The focus of the FY 2025 capital budget is on deferred maintenance projects and the renovation of existing buildings to provide innovation spaces to support students. The FY 2025 capital budget will allow us to begin the construction phase of the renovation of floors 1 through 3 of the Forestano building and begin the design phase of the much-needed renovation of the Dragon Science building. We are therefore for the dedication of our faculty and staff to the success of our students and thank each of you for the work you do. This concludes my comments. I'll now turn it over to the president were the two budget action items on the agenda.
The main motion in front of the board is that the Board of Trustees approve the fiscal 2025 college operating fund budget request in the amount of $139,835,900 and the auxiliary enterprise and restricted funds appropriation authority in the amount of $34,607,100, and authorize the president to submit the request to the county executive. The Board of Trustees reserves the right to revisit the budget after the state and county funding have been finalized.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? We have really made a meal out of this, folks. Had a 3-hour meeting the last time we had on. Okay, Monica, could you please call for the vote?
Yes, trustees, when I state your name, please state your vote. Chair Uvala,
Approve.
Vice Chair Chen,
Approved.
Trustee Chaudhry,
Approve.
Trustee Johnson,
Approve.
Trustee Moore,
Approve.
Trustee Price Jones,
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram,
Approve.
and Trustee Gwynn. Approve. Chair Uvala, the motion passes.
Thank you very much. And,
Capital budget.
yeah, please.
Dr. Johnson?
Yes, please.
You want me to? Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. The Board of Trustees is asked to approve the fiscal year 25 to 30 college capital budget requested as recommended by the Board of Trustees Budget Committee. Under the authority mandated by the Article 16 Annotated Code of Maryland, the President and the Board of Trustees are charged in front of the board is that the Board of Trustees approve the fiscal year 2025 to 2030 college capital budget request.
You've heard the motion. Do we have someone to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none. Monica, would you please call for the vote?
Yes, trustees, when I state your name, please state your vote. Chair Uvala,
Approve?
Vice Chair Chen,
Approve.
Trustee Chaudhry,
Approve.
Trustee Johnson,
Approve.
Trustee Moore,
Approve.
Trustee Price Jones,
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram,
Approve.
Trustee Gwynn. Approve. Chair Uvala, this motion passes.
Thank you very much. We'll continue with our committee reports. Next is the Board Development Committee. Trustee Price Jones?
Thank you, Chair Uvala. The Board Development Committee met on January 23rd. The committee members followed up on suggestions for ideas for board development. The committee will work with Strategic Communications to develop talking points for consistent messaging, which will be printed on cards or available electronically. The committee also recommends that the board participate in accessibility training, which has been developed by college staff to support the board's diversity, equity, inclusion, anti-racism, and accessibility goal. The committee recommends that this training be after one of the board's public sessions and will confirm a date soon. The board also is invited, after tonight's public meeting, to tour the Clausen Center for Innovation and Skilled Trades with the Dean of Continuing Education and Workforce Development, Sandy Jones. We will also have an opportunity to view an electrical apprenticeship lab in session. I'd like to thank board members who completed the Community College Trustees Survey. This national research project, Community College Trustees, Mission, Values, and Decision-Making in Uncertain Times, will replicate and expand upon the 1997 National Survey of Trustees, Board Chairs, and Presidents. The committee recommends having a facilitated board retreat in August. We ask that you save the date for Friday, August 9th, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It is not possible to confirm the final date of the retreat yet, as there will be new board members appointed effective July 1st, and we will need to check their availability as well. Lastly, the committee asks that you update your board's goal completion tracking sheet document that's included in your board materials under the Board Development Committee report. This helps members track their activities for our current goals. This also documents for mid-states that we are accountable for our goals and our actions. Chair Uvula, this concludes my report unless there's any questions.
Any questions? Excuse me, we'll continue with Dr. Chen's report on Board Policy Oversight Committee.
Thank you. The committee met on January 31st to review one policy and the proposed revisions to the college manual. The transfer credit for prior learning examinations policy is presented to the board as an information item for tonight's meeting. The Maryland General Assembly enacted a law that required public institutions on or before October 1, 2022, to develop and implement policies and procedures that accept award and credit for prior learning examinations. In accordance with the policy on the development of policies and procedures in September 2022, the Board Policy Oversight Committee received consensus from the board for the president to create and improve a policy on an interim basis, as the college did not have enough time for the policy to be vetted through the review process and be in compliance with the law. This policy will be presented to the board as an action item at the March 12th meeting. The proposed college manual revisions were presented to the board as an information item at the December 12th meeting. At the meeting, the board commented that the college manual revisions had not been reviewed by a board committee. The Board Policy Oversight Committee agreed to review the revisions and will do so for future revisions. Due to the recently approved employee grievance policy and related procedures, flexible work policy and related procedures, staff and administrator performance evaluation procedure, full-time faculty performance evaluations procedure, and promotion of part-time faculty procedure. The college manual needs to be revised. The sections related to grievances and telework need to be updated to remove conflicting information in the full-time and tenure track and full-time term contract sections of the college manual, sections 4 and 5. Part-time and special term faculty contract section, section 6, Administrative Staff Organization Code, section 7, and the Professional and Support Staff Organization Code, section 8. Additionally, language in the full-time and tenure track and full-time term contract sections, sections 4 and 5, it is a good thing, Mr. Chair, that I'm a lawyer, need to remove the reference interim full-time faculty performance evaluations, as the procedure was vetted through the process as outlined by the procedure on development of policies and procedures and approved by the president and vice presidents. A summary of all the college manual revisions have been included in the board's materials as well. These changes were proposed by the administration, and the college has followed the process for manual revisions as outlined in section 1.4 of the college manual. The committee had just a few edits in sections 4 and 5, and those changes are highlighted in yellow in your exhibits. If the board approves the revisions, the changes will be effective on the date of this meeting. If there are no questions, I would like to ask Dr. Lindsay to read the main motion for the board, as this concludes my report.
Thank you. The main motion in front of the board is that the Board of Trustees is asked to approve the revisions of the college manual, sections 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8.
Do we have such a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
And do we have any discussion? Yes, Dr. Johnson?
So in all of these sections, except for 6, there, the 6B in particular, there is approval by the board as subsets. The question is, why wasn't that particular section also reviewed and indicated by the board? I know it's something that you don't pull off the top of your head. But
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm going to have to get back with you seriously. I don't have an answer to your question.
Okay.
But you're talking about 6B?
6B.
You wanna put your mic on?
6A says approved by the board. 6B does not have approval by the board, and it's in the copy I have. Is your copy say something different?
Dr. Milner, what do you have?
Yeah, I don't have 6A or B, so I'm gonna have to get back to you once I find where that is. Do you?
Dr. Johnson, it's 6, what are you referencing? 6,
Right.
6 what?
6 has an A part and a B part.
Okay,
The A part has been approved by the board. The B part does not indicate any signature by the board prior to coming to us.
it would come as an information item before, and now it's coming to you as an action item.
I know
So we
from-
wouldn't have approval for the informational, I believe we're attaining approval for it at this meeting.
Yeah, but all the other sections had approval before it got to the board. Somebody?
Monica?
Yeah, Dr. Johnson, I see where you're talking about. That's just the error. It should be on both sections because it is one section, but the other, I see where you're talking about on the bottom page after 6.8. It says revised and approved by the Board of Trustees. It needs to be also on the end of 6B or which would be after the
6A.
end of section 6.17. That needs to be there as well. It's because it's the same manual section. Is that what you're referring to about the?
I was referring to the fact that 6B, all the other sections, at the end it says approved by the board October of 2010.
Correct.
In that particular section, does not show approval by the board at all.
It's missing a footnote.
Yeah, I just have to, we'll have to review that and make sure we have the accurate updates for when it was approved at the board. It was just an oversight on that, but we can make that change to it.
We'll have that fixed by tomorrow morning, maybe even tonight.
Only if it's true.
It is true, right?
I mean, it wasn't there. The question is, where are you going to find that it was approved by the board before it gets discussed? So some document.
So we will review all of the minutes. Generally, when section 6 goes to the board, it's for both A and B, but I will confirm and do that, but it should have the same date as the other one.
Well, you know that's my job to find these numbers.
We
I
love you
appreciate
for
the
this.
extra
It's
work, but I'm
okay.
just kidding.
It's
No,
all right.
It's a good oversight and it's a good catch, and we
Speak
need to
for
put that
yourself.
in there, make sure it's accurate.
All the more reasons we're not letting you leave.
It does appear that it might be an oversight or just a typo, but we'll confirm that and make sure that it's consistent with everything else that's in the material.
And we understand the concern.
Okay.
Any other discussion on that? All right, then can I hear the motion? Have we already made the motion?
Yeah.
That was the discussion.
There was a
Could
discussion
you
after
please
the
call for the
approval.
vote?
Yes.
Let's get out of here.
And trustees and Dr. Lindsay, just another friendly reminder to turn your microphone on so we can hear, especially as we have someone participating via Zoom.
Can
So,
I hear a repeat of what we're
There's going to be a confirmation that that has previously been approved.
Okay.
And that footnote will be corrected.
that's all I want.
Okay?
Thank you.
so trustees, when I say your name, could you please state your vote? Chair Uvala,
Approve?
Vice Chair Chen,
Approve.
Trustee Chaudhry,
Approve.
Trustee Johnson,
Approve.
Trustee Moore,
Approve.
Trustee Price Jones,
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram,
Approve.
And trustee Gwynn? Approve. Chair Uvala, the motion passes.
Thank you very much. I will admit, I read that entire document, and my head was spinning. And I thank you all for the pre-reads, because it was a real challenge, except for you attorneys that like to read that stuff, but, and engineers. Continuing with committee reports, we will now go to Facilities Committee. Trustee Moore?
Thank you, Chair Uvala. I am neither an engineer or a lawyer, but if you need CPR, I've got you covered. Okay? All right. Get your priorities straight. Yeah. What do you need first? Okay. All right. The Facilities Committee's meeting scheduled for January 4th was canceled. In lieu of the meeting, the committee was provided with a written update. The committee met in person on February 15th following the board budget workshop to discuss the following topics, the March procurements, future procurements, and update on campus projects. The committee also discussed future meetings. First, the committee discussed the procurements that was scheduled to be introduced at the March board meeting. However, since the agenda item was ready to go, it was introduced at tonight's meeting. Next, the committee discussed the list of future procurements. Lastly, the committee received an update on campus projects, specifically the pedestrian bridge, Florestano building renovation, the Broadneck Trail, the Glen Burnie Town Center HVAC renovations, and the 2026 Facilities Master Plan. Regarding the pedestrian bridge, we're pleased to report that the bridge was opened in time for the start of the spring semester. Some pavers on the east side of the bridge still need to be replaced, and that work will be completed by the end of March. Regarding the first through third floors of the Florestano building, the board approved the design contract last month, and the design meetings are underway. Regarding the Broadneck Trail, the committee received an update on this county project to create a pedestrian and bike trail along College Parkway. Completion of the overall project is now scheduled for January of 2025. Regarding the renovations to the Glen Burnie Town Center, the county is planning to replace the HVAC system in the building beginning July 2025. The college is discussing with them the ideal phasing of the project to minimize disruption to the students. Regarding the 2026 Facilities Master Plan, the college is also required to submit a new Facilities Master Plan to the state in February 2026. The committee will review a presentation on this project at our March meeting and will keep the board informed in future reports. Chair Uvala, this concludes my report.
Do we have any questions for Trustee Moore? Could we have a clarification on the Human Resources report? Will that be Trustee Stanton-Buttram?
It'll be read by Dr. Johnson, the committee member.
Oh, okay. Dr. Johnson?
Thank you very
I wasn't trying
much.
to usurp you. I just know that we have Trustee Stanton-Buttram.
I was rooting for her. The Board Human Resources Committee met via Zoom on December 14th to discuss the following topics. Number 1, collective bargaining. Number 2, lockdown drills. And number 3, the Time to Care Act. First, the committee received an update on the college's planning effort to collective bargaining with the Service Employees International Union, local SEIU. As the board is aware, SEIU will serve as the exclusive representative of the part-time faculty. Next, the committee received an update on the lockdown drills which are required by the state law. The drills occurred in October and November. Students, faculty, and staff were prepared, and there were very few instances of noncompliance. The drills were quite efficient, likely the results of works of detailed planning led by the college's emergency manager, but in the spirit of shared governance. There was a college-wide committee with representatives from all divisions who assisted in the planning. The team will continue to analyze the data and will be planning for the next drill. Last, the committee received an update on new legislation in Maryland called the Time to Care Act. The act provides up to 24 weeks of job-protected pay leave to employees to care for themselves or a qualifying familiar member. The college is investigating options for managing the program and will be participating in a statewide RFP for planning administrative services. This will be a standing item on the committee's agenda. This concludes the report.
Thank you. Any questions for Dr. Johnson? Okay, then we'll move into our AACC Foundation. Vice Chair Dr. Chen.
Thank you, Chair Uvala. If I could ask Trustee Gwynn to read the donor letter.
Dear donor, I would like to express my eternal gratitude for receiving the Senator John A. Cade Memorial Music Scholarship. As a music student, it would be impossible to continue my craft without the generosity of people like you. Because of this scholarship, I can continue living my dream of being a musician. I am able to continue making music that brings me the utmost joy and study a passion of mine that I otherwise would not be able to, and for that, I thank you. AACC was always the school for me, and I didn't even consider any other options. I knew that this school would offer me extensive musical training without the overwhelming financial stress. I'm confident that AACC has one of the best music programs, and I'm honored to be a part of it. Not only is the music program exceptional, but my other classes have proved to be some of the best that I've ever taken. I've created projects, explored topics through new lenses, and made lifelong connections with new friends that I'll never lose. As for after AACC, I plan to continue my education at Salisbury University to study to become an audio engineer. My training here at AACC is the reason I'm so confident that I will achieve my goals. My family has never been able to offer resources for higher education, so this scholarship has put me on the path for long-term professional success. Again, I'd like to thank you for this amazing scholarship and wish you all the best.
Thank you, Trustee Gwynn. Another heartwarming donor letter. Okay, continuing with the report. Since the last report in December, the foundation has received many generous gifts to support various scholarships and programs at AACC. Examples of support include an endowed scholarship to support students pursuing studies in the health sciences and the skilled trades, funding to support students studying culinary arts and hospitality at AACC, and a significant gift to provide much-needed support for the HelpLink Fund for nursing. To date, the foundation has raised $130,000 in annual scholarship support and $1.78 million in endowed scholarship support for the Future Nursing Professionals Initiative. As part of this effort, an anonymous donor endowed a scholarship in memory of Lorraine Hughes Girandola to honor her over 5 decades in nursing. Ms. Girandola was also a success coach at AACC from 2014 to 2022, supporting future nurses along their educational journey. The AACC Foundation is extremely grateful for the support of these and all of our generous donors. As of February 15th, 2024, the Foundation's fundraising total is just over $3.3 million in gifts and commitments, exceeding the fiscal year goal of $2 million. And now I would like to ask Dr. Lindsay to invite Foley Nelson to present the action item for the board to consider a naming opportunity.
Well, if you could please come to the podium, and we'll vote on this with a little bit of background from you.
Thank you. The board is asked to consider a naming opportunity based on a monetary donation as delineated in Section 2D of the procedures for naming college properties. Dr. Sally Earle is the donor who wishes to name the EMT paramedic suite in the Health and Life Sciences building, the Drs. Raymond and Sally Earle EMT paramedic suite. Dr. Earle satisfies the conditions and criteria set forth in the college's naming procedures. Dr. Sally Earle and her late husband, Dr. Raymond Earle, have a generous history of giving to AACC, and Dr. Sally Earle will enter into a new gift commitment that corresponds to this naming. In their lifetimes, Dr. Sally Earle and Dr. Raymond Earle have demonstrated personal qualities whereby it would be appropriate to have their names associated with our college. Dr. Raymond Earle served in both the United States Army and the Air Force and had a distinguished career in counseling, serving in leadership positions in the federal government and actually starting a counseling program at the University of Maryland. Dr. Sally Earle is the former editor of the Beltsville News and has held a number of volunteer leadership roles in community organizations. If named, rooms 154, 156, 156C, and 158 in the Health and Life Sciences building would again be called the Drs. Raymond and Sally Earle EMT Paramedic Suite. And if the motion is approved, the AACC Foundation will cover the costs of signage. I'd like to turn the floor back to the president to read the motion, and I'm available if anyone has questions.
Thank you, Volley. The main motion in front of the board is that the Board of Trustees approve the naming rooms of 154, 156, 156C, and 158 in the Health and Life Sciences building, the Drs. Raymond and Sally Earle EMT/Paramedic Suite, which meets the conditions and criteria set forth in our procedures for naming college properties, programs, and positions.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Monica, if you could call for the vote, please.
Yes, trustees, when I say your name, please state your vote. Chair Uvala,
Approve.
Vice Chair Chen,
Approve.
Trustee Chaudhry,
Approve.
Trustee Johnson,
Approve.
Trustee Moore,
Approve.
Trustee Price-Jones,
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram,
Approve.
and Trustee Gwynn.
Approve.
Chair Uvala, this motion passes.
Thank you very much. That concludes our committee reports for this month, and now I turn it over to President Dr. Lindsay.
Thank you. Spring enrollment. The spring semester started on January the 22nd, and I'm pleased to share that as of yesterday, our FTE enrollment was up 7% compared to this time last year. We have exceeded our final FTE target for the spring. This reflects the dedicated efforts of the Enrollment, Retention, and Completion Council work teams and our faculty and our staff. Legislative update. This legislative session has been a very busy one. In late January, Chair Uvala, Vice Chair Chen, and Trustee Moore joined me in meeting with many of the Anne Arundel County legislators to discuss the impact of the proposed decreases in CADE funding to community college and specifically to AACC. On February 1st and 2nd, I joined my fellow community college presidents and attended both the House and Senate hearings on community college funding. On February 6th, at the request of Delegate Dana Jones, I attended the House Appropriations hearing to support the alterations of the Facilities Renewal Grant Program, which proposes to distribute grants of equal amounts to each community college to help with the backlog of deferred maintenance projects. I will be joining my colleagues again tomorrow and Thursday, as the House and Senate will both be having hearings about the Budget Reconciliation and Financing Act, also known as the BRFA. I will be testifying on Thursday, February 29th, at the Senate Budget and Taxation Committee, asking the committee to reject the language of the BRFA and fully restore CADE funding. Chair Uvala has also been very busy, as he has been providing testimony for both the Senate and the House committee hearings in support of legislation that will expand the Board of Trustees to 10 members and consider geographic and ethnic representation so that all segments of our county are represented by this board. Accolades. Congratulations to 2024 Dr. Martin Luther King Zeitgeist Awards recipients, Dr. April Copes, Professor of Communication, and Dr. Cedric Harris, Associate Professor of Computer Information Systems. While the annual Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Breakfast was canceled this January, the college will be recognizing them at the Impact and Excellence Awards ceremony in April. This award, created by AACC's Black Student Union, recognizes AACC faculty and staff for their exemplary work on campus and in the community to help support students of color and advance diversity, equity, and inclusion. And in closing, AACC joins the community in honor of this year's Black History Month with the theme Blackness in Full Bloom. Several events are planned throughout the month, including art exhibits, movies, and panel discussions, and a modern soul cooking demonstration with Food Network Chopped Grand Champions Chef David K. Thomas and his wife, Chef Tanya Thomas, to inspire, educate, and promote engagement in meaningful ways. And at this point, I will invite Dr. Milner to the podium, please, to talk about new programs and certificates, and this will be an approval item.
Thank you. Good evening, all. The Board of Trustees is asked to approve the Music Transfer Associate of Arts program. The proposed program was approved by the college's Committee on Educational Policies and Curriculum on December 6, 2023, and the Academic Forum on December 14, 2023. With the board's approval, the Maryland Higher Education Commission will be notified of the college's intent to offer the program described in your attached exhibit beginning fall 2024. If this program is approved, the Arts and Sciences Transfer Music Associate of Arts program will be suspended. The program consists of coursework that already has full-time faculty and part-time faculty in place. As a result, there are no additional resources required to offer this program except for the cost associated with providing additional faculty coverage should enrollments grow significantly. Increased enrollment would potentially require new part-time faculty contracts at the cost of $1,135 per faculty load hour as needed. I'll turn it back to Dr. Lindsay for the main motion and answer any questions.
The main motion in front of the board is that the Board of Trustees approves the proposed Associate of Arts program as noted in the exhibit.
Do we have such a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Yes, Dr. Johnson and Trustee Moore?
Somebody, please.
So I want to draw an analogy and let you tell me how well it fits this particular case.
Yes.
In engineering, you hear about engineering technology, which don't use some of the highfalutin types of things you get in engineering.
Yes.
You said that they have faculty in place already. Are those faculty educated at a point and have the experience to go to that other level that we're talking about going to now?
Absolutely. They're the ones who put forward the program, so they absolutely know what is necessary. They've been professionally developed. They already have training.
That's what that said too, but I
Yes.
believe, okay.
Trustee Moore?
I don't know what is required in music any more than engineering technology, so I can't tell you specifically. But I can get you the
students
difference.
are taught at a higher level.
Yes.
They may have even other prerequisites before they can go to that level.
Yeah.
Whereas at the technology level, they didn't need those prerequisites because the teaching took place in class.
Yes.
That's what I was asking about.
Yeah.
Not necessarily saying that was the case.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, our faculty are well-trained to keep up.
Okay, my question is, do we know, are there any other community colleges in the state offering this music transfer?
I will have to get back to you on that
Okay.
one. I don't know that offhand.
Okay. Do we
I
have
think we put that in here.
any, I was asking that because sometimes if there's already a program in place in the state, there might be some letters to MHEC
Right.
about they don't want us to do it. So I was just wondering if there are any others.
I'll double check on that one.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, any further discussion? Then can we call for the vote, please?
Sure. Trustees, when I say your name, could you please state your vote? Chair Uvala,
Approve.
Vice Chair Chen,
Approved.
Trustee Chaudhry,
Approve.
Trustee Johnson,
Okay, but what am I voting on? Pending these things be looked at and are okay, rather than, because you don't have to come back to see us if we don't put some kind of something that responds to the questions that we've asked.
Yes.
Okay.
And we keep a list, just so the board knows, of any question that you all make. and we spend time making sure that we meet it. And then I usually send a grid out that has where we are in progress. So all of these questions are being recorded, and we will get you your answers.
So neither of the questions asked would be stoppers for us to go forward. But I think it would be if indeed the program was in conflict with a program right next door. So that's why I think that there should be something that says pending clearance of it being accepted by whoever does that. There's a company, I mean, there's an office that does that.
Yes, MHEC does that.
Yeah, Impact,
Yep.
so.
We
pending-
also get to
pending approval by
respond
MHEC would
when
be-
other colleges, as Dr.
And when we
Trustee
look at
Morrison.
programs, we do look at the surrounding areas. So we have to make sure, actually, it's amongst the presidents, it's kind of an honor thing. But if we were, for instance, to go into another county, we have to inform.
I know that, yeah.
Chair Uvala, are we amending the motion? I'm not clear.
I was asking if there was a motion, did it include some amendment such as clearance by MHEC or something like that? Something like
Once
that.
you approve, then we move forward to MHEC,
Okay,
not the other way around.
Yeah.
okay.
Dr. Milner, you've got somebody standing up behind you.
All right. I was hoping.
You could come to the microphone and speak.
To answer your question, yes, we looked at other community colleges, and all we could find was a certificate, not a degree program. If that answers your question.
Thank you, that was easy.
That was perfect. Thank you.
Perfect timing.
So MHEC better approve it then.
Yes.
I approve.
Well, that's all we need.
Okay, lost my place. Okay, trustee Price Jones,
Approve.
trustee Stanton Buttram,
Approve.
and trustee Gwynn.
Approve.
You didn't call me, but I approve.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry, I missed you.
Ignore
Trustee
Larry.
Moore.
No, I'm after you.
That's right, it was after, yes, trustee Moore, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
All right. Chair Uvala, that motion passes.
Yes, you ought to be with him in committee meetings if you think this is a challenge.
I have one more thing for later on.
Oh, boy. Okay.
We can't wait.
All right, moving along in my report to the board. I would, there's, let me see, Academic Council / Forum. Andy says there is no report or no need to have a conversation today. We'll get an update next month. From the Administrative Staff Organization, I would ask Andrea Zamora, President. No report still? Okay. Professional and Support Staff Organization, Lisa Starkey, President.
You know, I always like to talk. Good evening, members of the board. Lisa Starkey, President of the PSSO, and I'd like to share just a brief oral report. Our report includes many activities that the leadership team has been involved with during January and December. One noteworthy meeting was we met with the PSSO Engagement Committee to discuss the survey results from our PSSO members and brainstormed on a lot of ideas on how to increase PSSO member engagement and provide opportunities for PSSO members to connect. A lot of great ideas were shared, and our top priority is we will be holding a PSSO Professional Development Day on Wednesday, April 24th. This typically is Administrative Professionals Day, and we thought we'd take an opportunity and expand it for all of the members. During the December 7th, under our Civility Matters at AACC, December 7th, Jason Ancona presented a mini workshop during our meeting on email etiquette and professionalism. With the feedback from that session, we are going to be hosting some additional workshops on effective email communication and professionalism and civility. We are also working on a series of workshops for PSSO members focused on civility in the workplace. We have reached out to Dr. April Copes, and she will be offering 2 workshops on the area of re-examining conflict and also effective communication with civility. We have Professor Latanya Engelston, who's going to be doing a workshop on the power of positivity, and all of this falls in line with our effort on the civility matters. Our January 23rd PSSO meeting, we launched our first Caring Corner. This is an opportunity for PSSO members to share activities that they are involved with outside of the college. If they're in doing maybe a run-a-thon or a walk-a-thon, and we thought it was a great way to showcase some of the efforts of our PSSO members out in the community. So we had our first Caring Corner. We had our mid-year update from the president and vice presidents to our members. We had 103 PSSO members attending the update. So thank you so much to the president and vice presidents for their time to share that valuable information of where we were in the fiscal year and where we're going. So it was really well done. We had on February 15th the PSSO Wellness Workshop from Melissa Bowling. We had 53 members attending the workshop, and it was on setting boundaries to develop healthy relationships. Our report does have a lot of the activities, and I have a slide. There we are. Our PSSO Engagement Committee collaborated with the college's Community Service Committee to do another wonderful Pack the Pantry at the AACC holiday events. I was told that we had over 6 kind of flatbed carts filled. So we had that, and it was just a wonderful collaboration. We also collected 2 boxes of donations at Arundel Mills and Glenburnie Town Center during the holiday events. I couldn't resist having Dean Bowen up there with his best Chevy Chase impression. And we attended the leadership team, the Glenburnie Town Center and Arundel Mills holiday event, so we could reach out to our PSSO members there. Next month, we will be sharing with the board in our report our accomplishments on our goals so far, because we've been so busy. So thank you on behalf of myself, Caitlin, and Laura.
Thank you, Lisa. From our Student Government Association, Zach Buster, President.
Good evening, Chair Uvilla and the board. Good evening, President Lindsay. I hope your winter holiday season went well and you got the much-needed rest that you probably all deserve for the work that you do for our students and the college as a whole. So I just wanted to first start off by thanking you guys for all that. And then since the time we last met together, the Student Government Association has hit the ground running. Since the start of the spring semester, we advocated for our constituents in multiple ways. Earlier this month, I and other students joined Dr. Lindsay in Annapolis for the Maryland Association of Community Colleges Advocacy Day, where we lobbied our elected officials to vote no to the proposed funding cuts that President Lindsay mentioned earlier, and just in general, improvements to community colleges' budgets and things like that. This new semester has also brought some new leadership. Last month, our Vice President of Finance, Kodra Thompson, resigned from his position. In his place, we interviewed and voted in one of our senators, Matt Bacho. I believe Matt will do a great job in this role using his natural skill with numbers and eager attitude. We are also in the process of interviewing a candidate for the Vice President of Campus Activities, and SGA has also hosted and helped with multiple events over the last month. On February 9th, we addressed students and club leaders in our first general forum of the semester. The Monday after, on February 12th, we hosted the Spring Involvement Fair to help the 23 clubs represented at the event recruit with around 200 students in attendance. In the same week, we also hosted the Swoop Sweethearts Valentine's Day Party to come together as a campus community and celebrate not only the joy of love, but the beauty of friendship. This inclusive event welcomed everyone to participate in various games and activities, while SGA members passed out Valentines across campus. We have also assisted and attended multiple events surrounding Identity and Black History Month to show the support and ensure our student body feels valued and heard this month. Early in the month, we helped the Office of Student Engagement with the Share a Pizza Your Identity board workshop, where students shared pizza and also shared pieces of their identity by, we had all of these labels that you could identify with. And so what we did was we had students take yarn and draw lines in between all of the identities that they felt they could identify with. And really, at the end of it, you see this really, really colorful, amazing web, just really showing all of the different identities that are represented in our diverse population. And we also helped with the running of the Black History Month Poetry Slam and Cookout, where students experience Black culture through food, music, and art. I also had the privilege of learning about Black history through an educational cooking demonstration on the same day. It was very great. Very tasty, too. The energy of these events is a big encouragement to me, as it is the very manifestation of what I sought out to do when I became SGA president, and that's put the community in Anne Arundel Community College. Almost every week, about 2 times a week, on Monday and Wednesday, I walk through the dining hall in the Student Union building. Since I first took office, I watched as the scattered individuals in the cafeteria who usually sit alone and, watch on their phone, and they're just typically doing whatever they want, right? But I watched slowly as the semester began to go on, and especially the fall semester began to go on, and even this semester, I began to see those people sitting at tables together, and then they formed bigger and bigger groups, and I've really watched the same people just really find that community that I found here at AACC. And so that's the kind of stuff that gets me out of bed every day. It's the kind of stuff that makes me do what I do every day and encourages me to do what I do. So I just wanted to thank you guys for allowing me to present to you.
Thank you, Zach.
Thanks, Zach.
Chair Uvala, oh, I'm sorry.
Can I make a comment?
Absolutely.
In my days, what I've learned, if you go through the place the same time every time, you'll only see the same people. So maybe think a little bit about kicking it another day. You'll see another group of people, just a way of being broad and how you're able to reach out to people.
Almost every week I actually do rounds around the college, and I make sure to go to all the places where there's a lot of foot traffic and a lot of people, just to interact with students. But consistently every time when I walk into my office, it's just one thing. As I'm walking through the cafeteria, I get to look to my left, and just one thing I've noticed the progress because I see it so consistently. So I do make sure to get out and do rounds around the college campus. So thank you guys.
Zach, we got one more comment.
Sure.
Vice Chair?
Yeah, I just want to really, really thank the SGA and the students who appeared before the state legislators, your advocacy. I know personally that hearing from the student is the most meaningful thing that legislators can hear. So thank you for making that effort.
Thank you so much for making it happen. Thank you so much. Any other questions or comments?
Thanks, Zach.
Okay, thank you.
Deborah, President of the Faculty Organization.
Good evening. That was a pretty tough act to follow.
We'll put you on above him.
TFO Senate met in December and February. TFO is still working on a motion to provide voice on appropriate issues for instructional staff who spend a lot of their working time actively teaching. A lot of TFO members have been providing input to the policy and procedure process. In terms of the standing committee's compensation has pretty much made its recommendations, but they've been very active in trying to tell faculty how they can provide input into the budgetary process and to encourage people to make that input. Promotion and tenure is pretty much wrapped up for this year and is preparing for next year. And what I'd really like to highlight is that the ad hoc committee on faculty mentoring has made a huge amount of progress. They've been doing a lot of study. They've been doing a lot of comparing programs at various places, and they're ready to move into an implementation phase. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. I'm going to move into the Maryland Association of Community Colleges report. Last month was the annual MAC Trustee Leadership Conference and Reception at the Governor Calvert House in Annapolis. At the conference, there were presentations about legislative issues from the Association of Community College Trustees, the MAC Legislative Agenda, and the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond Survey of Community College Outcomes. At this reception, we had the opportunity to meet and talk with our Anne Arundel County delegates and senators. I want to thank Chair Uvala, Vice Chair Chen, Dr. Johnson, Trustees Moore, Price Jones, and Gwen for joining me in this event. On Tuesday, February 6th, probably one of my most favorite days of the year too, Zach, I had the pleasure of participating in MAC's in-person Student Advocacy Day with 12 of our students, including our Student Government Association President, Zach Buster. As we met with Anne Arundel County delegates and senators, the This was such a wonderful opportunity for the students to speak directly to their elected officials about how pending legislation would impact them personally. And the power of those student testimonies really does get the attention of the elected officials. The MAC Legislative Committee continues to meet every Monday since session started in January, where we review numerous bills introduced in the session. In addition, at the monthly Maryland Council of Community College Presidents meetings, MAC has been providing the presidents updates in regard to the full bills related to MAC's legislative agenda. In your talking points for the community this month, we've included information about the BRFA, otherwise known as the Budget Reconciliation Financing Act. And I'm going to move now into the action item, Dr. Milner, for the academic calendar approval.
The Board of Trustees is requested to approve the 24-25 academic calendar as shown in your Exhibit 1. To become part of the official records of the college, the academic calendar requires approval by the Board of Trustees prior to publication in the catalog 24-25. With the Board of Trustees' approval, the 24-25 academic calendar will be published in the 24-25 catalog and other college publications as appropriate. No fiscal implications. I'll move back to Dr. Lindsay for the main motion. I was waiting to see if Dr. Johnson had anything.
See, we pause now, Jim. Don't let us down.
When I said no fiscal implications, he usually raises an eyebrow.
It does cost us money.
Yeah,
Every time we close up,
so I was waiting.
we're paying people a benefit. I was gonna leave it alone, but you messed with it.
I bring it on myself. I'm a glutton for the punishment.
All right, getting control back in this meeting again. The main motion in front of the board this evening, what a fun way to end the meeting, is that the Board of Trustees approve the 2024-2025 academic calendar as shown in Exhibit 1 for inclusion in appropriate college publications.
Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, no, I have a question. So if we need to add any request any holiday or something, is this calendar is only for this college? Or is for the whole Maryland?
This is our academic, just
Just
general.
For this,
college.
if we have to
just for
request
the
any
next
kind of
academic
holiday or something, so do we have to come?
Everything, holidays, times, everything's vetted for the board. We
Okay.
need their approval before we can do anything related to
Okay,
the
but it can be
calendar.
amended later, right? Or is for the whole year is done?
We'll be publishing this. If approved tonight, this will be in our published materials for 2024 for 2025. Doesn't mean that we can't make changes if changes are necessary, but they'd have to be approved by the board.
Got it, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Any further discussion? We'll call for the vote then.
Trustees, when I call your name, could you please state your vote? Chair Uvala,
Approve?
Vice Chair Chen,
Approve.
Trustee Chaudhry,
Approve?
Trustee Johnson.
Approve.
I'm not going to forget Trustee Moore,
Approve.
Trustee Price Jones,
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram,
Approve.
and Trustee Gwynn.
Approve.
Chair Uvala, the motion passes.
Thank you. Dr. Johnson, new business? Did you have something else that you wanted to add?
I was going to close my report.
Oh, sorry. I thought your report was closed.
I usually say, and that now concludes my report, and I turn it back
Well,
over to you.
I don't want to interfere with that.
That's right. I just did it.
You think we'd never met before?
No.
This is not a rookie meeting here. Okay, well, then, the next board meeting is March.
I thought she was gonna say, you don't have anything to say?
She just
I
did.
just needed to report for the record that I was turning the meeting back to Chair Uvala because I had concluded my report for the president.
And you missed it. She did it.
Okay, but she was whispering in your ear, not in mine.
Let me get the mic up closer. There we go.
But look, just, there was one item we haven't talked about at all. Was that for us to read for the next time? That is, providing credit for years of service. Isn't that in that?
The prior learning,
Say it again?
the prior learning
examination
policy.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you have any questions? We did go over it, I think.
Did we vote on it? I must have been
Yes.
asleep. Well, I had a question about it, and if.
Go ahead.
The question was, if a student worked for a while came to college for us, and he or she had a course they couldn't pass. But what they did is to go outside, take the course, and then come back and apply for it as a transfer student.
Yes,
That's permissible.
yes. If
As
they
long
get a
as the-
C or better at another institution and transfer the course back, yes.
Okay. So
Dr. Johnson,
That's not prior learning examination.
Dr. Johnson, that policy is not for what you just discussed. The policy that was presented as an information item strictly governs the process with respect to prior learning examinations. So certain kinds of exams, CLEP exams or other advanced placement exams, other kinds of exams that are used to award credit. The process that you're referencing would come under a different policy, which is forthcoming.
Okay. Thank you.
You comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Okay, no further new business. Our next board meeting is March 12th, 2024. Unless there's an objection, we'll use unanimous consent to close the meeting. We're adjourned.